and welcome back to North Shore Television's celebration of World Art Day. Now with us is Gregory Singer, aka Rage Sinclair. Greg is currently an educational administrator and a practicing social worker. However, he's worked on behalf of those in need throughout the state since 1990. He's received numerous awards and citations for his work and endeavors on behalf of others. Now, as Rage Sinclair, he's a co-creator of Poeartistry, Inc., which is what we're here to talk about today. But first, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Erica, for having me. World Art Day, what a fabulous chance to bring people together through the arts in every part of the spectrum. So I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Yes,
it's a great day to bring everybody together under one umbrella, celebrating the arts.
Yes.
So before we get started about poetry,
Surely.
Why Rage?
Rage, actually, the character of Rage in Rage Sinclair, it's a two-part character, really. It was my appreciation of Stan Lee. He created a Marvel character called Rage, who happened to be one of the rare in the early 80s African-American heroes in Marvel Comics. Rage was a wrestler. He was a street kid who happened to be able to transfer kinetic energy through his body into giving him tremendous strength. So there was Rage and my appreciation of comic books, which in the early part of my life gave me an outlet to release my angst through the fantasy of heroes. So that's Rage. Sinclair comes from my working. I had a job at one time or another working in a hospital, and I would call the floor and go, "Hello, this is Dr. James Sinclair calling for the patient in room 315. So I thought combining two parts of my formative life would accent my desire to help people through the arts and having an artistic name, Rage Sinclair. Gregory Singer is a good name. Gregory M. Singer is a good name. I have no problem with the name. But I thought Rage Sinclair would be better to put on books for artistic endeavors.
That's great.
And life endeavors.
It's a great name.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How long have you been going by that for?
I've been going by Rage Sinclair. I don't want to put a date on it, but because it would date me a little bit. But I go for Rage Sinclair is every day that I need to remind myself that you have to be exactly who you want to be, just to be honest, not to be coy. But Rage Sinclair, we all have alternate heroes.
Yeah.
When I played basketball, I looked at Michael Jordan and I said, although Patrick Ewing was my hero, I said I wanted to be the Patrick Ewing or Michael Jordan of my own basketball game. So Rage Sinclair is the heroic heart that I carry every day. So it's been all my life.
I'm glad I asked you that. That's really interesting.
Thank you so much. I just articulated it eventually in a name, but the heroic heart in all of us are a little child in his pajamas, his Superman pajamas. He or she would be that hero from the time they were formulating who they were.
Wow.
Yes, thank you for asking that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk now about Poeartistry. What is it? How did you come about creating it?
Poeartistry is truly the amalgamation of all that we are. If you live a poeartistry life, then you're living a life of self-esteem through self-definition. Poeartistry is really self-esteem through self-definition, the art of defining you. If you look at the history of all types of poetry, he or she would sit at the hands of deities and queens, of popes, and they would articulate all that we feel through the poetic word. When you see something that is the ultimate in beauty, it's like being poetic. It's like that guy did that basketball move. It was like poetry. You follow me? Poetry in motion. So poeartistry is everything that life can do with a word, i.e. dance to the word and sing to the word and live by the word and perpetuate life through word. So you defend yourself, self-esteem through self-definition, through the articulation of yourself through poetry. It just so happens that I write in prose because I'm a little floral in my writing. I like to tell stories in each of the pieces. I look at each of them like they have a life of their own. So if you are living a life poetic, you are living the life of poeartistry. So it's self-esteem through self-definition. It is poetry, it is music, it is dance, it is dramatic prose, it is plays, it is song, it is all that will bring your life to life through poetry. Self-esteem through self-definition.
Now, did you study poetry? Did you write poetry when you were younger?
I've written poetry. I've lived a poetic life in action throughout my whole life. I studied theater both in high school and in my undergraduate in college at Adelphi University. Once I left college, I did a little bit of the off-Broadway. I was at the American Theater of Actors. I was in a play called Looking for Love in Darkness. Upon graduation from Adelphi, I actually was an extra in Jungle Fever.
Oh, good.
So, and what sparked the interest really to perpetuate my poetry is I said, well, why don't I submit a song for Jungle Fever? And he said, well, Stevie Wonder's going to do the album. So subsequently, I turned that piece into a Soul's Fever, and it's in one of the books that is under the Poeartistry umbrella. Yes.
How interesting.
But yes, I have
Jungle Fever.
Jungle Fever. I submitted a piece called Jungle Fever. He gave it to Stevie Wonder, so I wasn't too mad about that. Great album. That's a great album.
What are you going to do?
Yes,
Stevie.
thank you very much. Yes, indeed.
So you told us a little bit about what Poeartistry is.
Yes.
But what made you, like, what came up, how'd you get this idea? Where'd you come up with this idea?
Well, to be honest, I'm a very malleable person, right? And I was in my graduate program before studying social welfare. I was a theatrical person, i.e., studying theater in college. Majored in psychology, minored in theater, minored in theatrical aspects. I'm studying at Stony Brook University, and Dr. Frances Brisbane, I give her name because she was one of my heroes. We have a class on addressing child abuse in various sections of our society. And she says you can address it through essays, through letters, or through poetry. Now, you're writing 15-page papers on various social welfare issues. I said, I can write poetry while studying this, and you're inundated with your internship. And at the time, my children were very young with being a father and working a full-time job and getting your master's. And she says, you can write poetry and get an A for this class. I said, what? And so one of the pieces I wrote, if I might share it, is called Surviving Survival. You know, with my ear pressed to the door, I listen for the sound of their footsteps. I truly believe that I will be safe as long as my quiet is kept. When they drink that smelly juice, it tends to make them crazy. Their bodies shake and their eyes look lazy. For some reason, happiness has disappeared. The way we laughed, smiled, the way you both cared, it appears that I'm now the cause of your pain, that I've somehow exhausted your lively gains, but I promise you this, and I tell you it's no lie, my love for you will be strong until I die, and though you may not see it through your drunken haze, my life as your child will see brighter days, and our umbilical love will go through a miraculous revival. Yeah, I'm getting used to surviving survival. When a father says, you ask a grown man with a child by his side, you say, how you doing, man? How's everything going? He goes, hey, man, I'm surviving. The child that father is carrying or walking is surviving his survival.
That's what you used for your class?
Yeah, I used one of 5. I used Surviving Survival, Endless Possibilities, The Greatest Love You'll Ever Know, and 2 others. And Dr. Brisbane saw the credence and the weight of those matters, and I earned that A. I was happy. It's one of the greatest experiences I've had in an educational setting under that great location. I'm happy to say I got my master's from Stony Brook University, yes.
Isn't it nice
Yes.
when you're able to be in a class and that goes outside the box?
Yes. And,
and
it was a gift, a true gift that she allowed us to do that. So thank you for asking that question.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, so really quickly, you have a team.
Yes, yes.
Who's your team that you work with?
Well, my team is an amalgamation of some of the most talented people I know. Dr. Lee Stone, he is the executive producer and my partner in reference to all endeavors. Raphael Gibbs, he is our chief engineer of all matters pertaining to assisting with the bridge of putting the music together. He's a magnificent young, talented man. And Andre Vanderpool is our visual. I call him a visual light because everything the world will see through our eyes and through our music, Andre will put to the screen, and he will put mind to film, to screen, and he will make sure that the world understands the entire encompassing of the visual aspect of Poeartistry. But Dr. Lee Stone, Raphael Gibbs, and Andre Vanderpool, and myself as the poet, the artist, and the creative director of Poeartistry, the Poeartistry team. Yes.
And how long have you guys been working together?
It really appears that we've been working together all of our lives because, and I'm just being honest, I'm a person that believes in the power of now. So the length of time sometimes gets lost in the minutia. So we've been working together all of our lives, if I might say that, because we come into a room and it's like we've known each other all our lives. This current project we've been working on for about 36 to 24 to 36 months, only because we had the COVID break and we had to split up. Now we were speaking via video and speaking in our own terms. Mm-hmm. But we came back together in July, and we have been fostering forward such energy in reference to Poeartistry Empathy, our current project that will be coming out. The reason why we called it Empathy is I make the analogy to Stephen King writing both Carrie and Christine. Christine was about the car. Stephen King is not a transformer, so he creates a car with the spirit of a person. Then he creates Carrie as a character, feeling what possibly a teenage girl that happens to have, psychopathic energies and can, kill and do all of those things. He just as a writer, writing the mind of a cat, in Pet Sematary. So empathy, in its eclectic way of approaching things, try to feel where the person was feeling, where the child was feeling, where the woman was feeling, where the time was feeling. So the emphasis is we are empathically connected to all of our experiences. In that room we have years and years of different separated experiences. But when we come together under the empathy, which is one of our projects, and we have a few different projects. Mm-hmm. We have A Hard Day's Joy, which is our play that will be coming out, based in part to the Poeartistry music that we are creating. Empathy will be directly connected to A Hard Day's Joy. Stinky-poo is one of 4 books that we will be under the Poeartistry and Empathy. It is all one umbrella. Poeartistry will touch everyone if they are where their feet are, where their heart is, and where their mind can be open. But empathy will touch music and life in a way that nobody has ever seen, but everybody will always want it. One of the monikers of Poeartistry is something new, something now, something wow. And when you can say, wow, how come I didn't do that? All we want to say is you can do it now. Poeartistry is not greedy with its enthusiasm towards bringing us together. You listen to Poeartistry, you are listening to yourself.
Now, is Empathy almost finished? Is it finished?
Empathy, we are gloriously moving towards the finishing, but I'm dealing with such geniuses that I don't rush them through this, because
geniuses or perfectionists?
Yes, but I don't want to call them perfectionists because, aspects of them are striving towards perfection, so I don't limit their description or our description of it.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing with such genuine souls that you just know that when it's done, it will be ready. But we're moving towards the completion of it. Yes, I'm really excited about it.
You can feel it when it's finished.
It's
right?
moving. It's moving in me like a volcano. So I'm ready for the world to have this. On behalf of the team, we are going to touch the world in a special way. Yes.
That's exciting.
Thank you very much.
Can't wait to hear it. I really can't.
It's going to be exciting. Yes.
So you had also mentioned about a book that you've recently written.
Well, Stinky-poo Who Are You by Rage Sinclair was a labor of love, actually written during COVID. I needed an outlet. As an educator, we were placed in hiatus in our various homes and meeting in Zoom, mm-hmm. And also as a clinician, I'm in my home doing Zoom sessions. So by day, after my various duties, I was walking a lot, and basically I wore out 3 pairs of sneakers over about 4 or 5 months.
Really?
Stinky-poo really comes from my time being a foster child. In the first time I was a foster child, I happened to live in a home, just to be frank, that was not conducive to loving children at that time, just to accepting, which happened to be a multicultural child. My father was from Europe and my mother was African, or of African descent. And when I go into this house, it was a few years after people started to understand that people of all creeds, races, and colors could love each other. So they treated me in ways that I wouldn't want anyone to be treated. So they would send me to school periodically in ways that were not conducive to you making friends. So a group of kids called this child Stinky-poo, like Winnie the Pooh, like the bear that was Winnie the Pooh. Stinky-poo. So I said, well, Stinky-poo at that time still he was defending himself with putting his chest out. You can say whatever words you want to say. I will still be me. But it did bother me that you were calling me Stinky-poo because I couldn't do anything about it. They said I could only take a shower twice a week. And I'm at an age where your body is, and your pheromones and your funk, to be honest, are real. You're living an active lifestyle at whatever age you are.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's not right. It's not right. But it allowed me to foster a sense of myself. And it also fostered resiliency. So Stinky-poo is one part, the detriments of what teasing and bullying can do to a child. But if a child survives this, if a child can see themselves through the angst that they may live, then he or she will find a way to be better than their circumstance. The majority of a child's life will be adulthood. It's what you leave behind that you can't use, and what you use in its space that you can perpetuate yourself forward will really be the tools that will help you survive a myriad of different circumstances that will cripple some and make others fly. That time in my life, although it was detrimental in reference to me in the moment, allowed me to say, I can be better. I know I could be better. And if I needed to rely on me, I'm going to rely on me. One of the words or phrases I wrote in one of my early writings in reflection of my parents leaving me behind is, with all you took from me, you still gave me my destiny. Because if all I have is the memory of what you did not give me, I still have the thoughts of what I can give myself. So there's a balance, you know. We're the apple in the tree to our parents. But the seeds that drop right at the base of those trees, the seeds are reabsorbed into the earth. It's just, you know, sometimes those apples roll away, rolling far and free to play. I happen to be that apple that rolled down that hill and grew my own tree.
You are.
Oh, thank you. And here I am today.
Here you are today.
Thank you so much for asking that. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
But Stinky-poo was a labor of love, and it's currently on all of the digital platforms, on the Nook and on Amazon and on the Kindle and anywhere you can find it. And if you read it, you will be touched in various ways. Although it is a children's book, it can be used from a curriculum and a poignant and an issue standpoint all the way up to the 12th grade. It is a lesson, 1 in social welfare, 2 in artistic endeavors, 3 in poetry or prose, but 4 in understanding yourself. Because it touches on children of multicultural descents. It touches on children now coming from different countries or placed in foreign circumstances. These beautiful, beautiful lights that become beautiful men and women must be fought to. And I'm not telling anyone what to do. As a therapist, I ask people to consider who they want to be. I pride myself on being both a life coach, a practice existentialist, a practice cognitive behavioralist, and I asked my clients, these young, beautiful souls, and as long as you're alive, you're not the 300 years that is a tree or a rock. You are young in reference to this life, young in reference to your chance. If you are attempting to perpetuate an answer for yourself that you can live with, I say, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And again, with the Poeartistry way, we just want to give you a couple of sparks. We want to give you a couple of little sparks that will remind you that if you move your body, if you have the strength to move your body, you can change your body and change your mind. And if you change your mind to complement who you want to be in the day you're in, then you just take it that day, and maybe that's the day you start to be for the next day who you exactly want to be.
Did you purposefully create it so that all of your senses are taken in at the same time? Just
to be honest, Poeartistry is a journey into the self through everything your body can be. Well, in studying theater, method acting per se, you become the character. You become the moment. And if you can become the moment, if you can be present where your feet are in the moment, then you will not be denied. Because if you can live an authentic moment there, then life will be glorious. You will always have a reference point, i.e., in teaching, I've taught a long time. I taught at Adelphi, I taught at Hofstra, I presented around the nation. All I ask is people to be present where their feet are in the day they are at least listening to this one presenter at the time. Be where you are on this day. It is so easy to fall within distractions of a bill you may have to pay, which is eventually going to be paid, a call you need to make, which will be dialed in a moment. But what if you could be present in the breath that you're taking right now, in the beautiful conversation that you're having with a new friend or an older friend or whomever the friend may be? Just imagine being present. When you listen to empathy, you will no doubt, you will have no choice to say, wow, what just hit me? That's at least, to be able to feel that about something that I'm co-creating is one of the most glorious feelings. It's like, I have 2 children. It's like feeling my 2 children that are now grown, a little grown now, but feeling it in your hand. When Poeartistry, when empathy is given to the world, it will be like we're releasing our child that will give something to the world that they have never seen before, but always wanted. Because it's something new, something now, something wow. To be wowed by it will be something that the world really wants to feel. They really want to feel empathy, yes.
So before you get to the book, because I know you're going to read the book to the audience.
Yes, I'd be honored to, yes.
I just wanted to ask, what do you see for the future? The
future of Poeartistry will be everything that we can imagine, to be honest. I have a team behind me that have experienced various successes, right? We don't only live in a paper and pen world, we live in a digital world right now. You pay your bills via line. You pay your bills online. You pay you're contacting people online. If you paid your Netflix online, or if you paid your cable bill or your phone bill. Poeartistry will live both a pragmatic and practical life in performance, in stage performance. We have the play A Hard Day's Joy. We have a line of children's books that will be consumable both practically, which the rarity will be the paper book. That
I like.
Right. The rarity will be the paper book. It will be a collector's item. But in reference to reaching people both from Bangor to Bangladesh, they will have to be able to consume it digitally. So Poeartistry will have a couple of different lives. You will have the album, Poeartistry Empathy. You will have the play A Hard Day's Joy, which will be a magnificent display of resiliency through the music that we are creating right now, and characters and life and love. You will have Poeartistry Advertising. Everything that our beautiful minds, in reference to this beautiful team that I represent today, the future of Poeartistry is bright, but the future of Poeartistry is now, the day we are working on it and living in it, yes. But anywhere you can consume anything, Poeartistry will be.
It's quite a large concept. Well, try to digest.
Well, here, to the brain, and you know this, we appreciate whatever you can imagine, you can become. At least from my standpoint. I come from a place that had nothing, My mother died early in my life. My father promised to come back in 6 weeks and did not come back. And I knew right then that if with the little that they taught me, I'm able to defend myself and articulate myself in a way that I can have hopefully this is a great conversation for you. And through the arts, which allows yourself to say, even if they don't like it, and I believe they're going to love it, I still know that I've tried to contribute to the greater good, that Poeartistry will try in its effort, that empathy and all that Poeartistry will be is just trying to contribute to the greater good, which leapfrogs colors and creeds and attitudes and everything, and bridges the gap that the arts do. The arts bridges the gap between unknown to the known, that I understand myself better as a man, as a woman, as a straight, as whoever, as a Catholic, as whomever. I understand myself better because those individuals decided to invest their time and their love in the betterment of we as a people. Not only black or white or Chinese or Japanese, but we as a humanity, we as a people. We do not deny that we are men or women, or we happen to be men of African American descent or biracial descent. I don't deny that. But with my artistic tongue, you will feel if I will be able to touch you as a woman. I will be able to touch you as a man. I will be able to touch you as a politician. I will be able to touch you, or excuse me, we will be able to touch you as a warrior. As somebody that knows you will speak with your mind and your heart and not have to punch somebody with your mouth, with your fist. You see, self-esteem through self-definition, the art of defining you, is also the art of defending the you that you understand. I ask no one to punch anyone in the mouth, but if you can define yourself in word and action, people will not see you as a vulnerable victim, but a hero in your own life. And that's really one of the other bridges that Poeartistry will allow you to cross if you consume it the way that we are attempting to put it forward for you.
I mean, I think art in general, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think any artist is asking you to like what they do.
No.
It's to open your mind,
And that's
have
it.
you think about something, maybe appreciate something a little bit different. You don't have to put it up on your wall.
And you know this, Erica. You see, constructive criticism comes from your construction. You follow? It comes out of your belly and through your heart and through your throat and out of your brain and then out of your mouth. So to criticize, if it's not constructive, it is destructive, but the point of you destroying something is you must first taste the destruction first. So if you are being critical without showing a point of growth, then it's hurting you more than it's hurting anybody that you're attempting to perpetuate.
Exactly right. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah. And I don't want to hurt nobody.
You're right.
So I put nothing but love on it.
Yourself.
I like myself. We're good to go, you know.
That's exactly
Definitely.
Right. So, I mean, this has been a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
Really, not just because the cameras are running. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you.
And now I think we're going to take a break and have you read the book.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to presenting to the world Stinky-poo, Who Are You? Good day, everyone. And on behalf of World Art Day, my name is Rage Sinclair. Today we present on behalf of the Poeartistry line of children's books, Stinky-poo Who Are You? By Rage Sinclair. On a hot Brooklyn day, under a hazy, humid heat, a young boy stands dirty from afro to feet. Although kind of heart and a stomach bare of food, he was distracted by the words, "I wish I could." Be done with this dusty dew that makes others look away, scamper to find with other kids to play. Be free of the smell that has others make fun of this lonely child with no place to run. Feel my mommy's touch that would wash this dirty face, hands that help me button my shirt and tie up my loose lace. Fly to the sky where she lives right now, oh so blue, oh so wow. Show the world how smart I am, that my words matter, that I have a plan. And stop the rumble from the floor of my father's heavy pace, like a gray and white knight pounding wood into place. Grow up a little quicker and get muscles so to move and show. Stare back at these bullies, show them where to go. Wipe my brother's nose, comb my sister's hair, help them to look clean, like someone does care. Ask Mr. Edison to please keep the lights on. When the sun goes down, the nights seem so long. And colder as we all huddle into place, rubbing hands together, rosy cheeks to our face. And although you call me Stinky-poo, today is the day that I'll show you. Happy World Arts Day, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed day.